Hello, I'm the Angry Spork, taking issue with Power Rangers / Ninja Turtles. The two teams fought a little, worked together, standard crossover procedure, all over Tommy Oliver seeming to have joined the Foot Clan. This was, however, a feint, zipping up the ranks in order to find an old friend of his that'd fallen in with the ninjas, so he could get him out. Too bad he got captured, hit with some science doohickey, and now Shredder faces Rita Repulsa and her crew, as he now is the Green Power Ranger. Issue 3's cover is really good. The heroes group together, Ranger Shredder, his mutants, and Ninja kind of surrounding them in the mid-ground against a city backdrop. It's really eye-catching. To quickly explain why the power suit is all shreddery, we pick up with Rita lashing out, accusing Saki of corrupting the Dragon Power Coin, though he claims he did what he does with all things, bent it to his will. Meaning he offered the coin an employee pizza party every third Friday of the month in lieu of insurance benefits. He becomes increasingly intoxicated by the power the more he uses it in his fight against Rita. Enhanced speed, razor-sharp senses, muscles of steel, and probably minty fresh breath, I bet. Meanwhile, Bebop and Rocksteady have most of the monsters pinned down and hiding, because now they suddenly have guns. But there's a fourth minion that's actually a warrior, Goldar, to rally the rest. Unfortunately, we don't get more of that, as we focus on their bosses. Rita boasts she's defeated greater opponents than the ninja, managing to get in a good strike with her magic. Shredder says he intends to break the other Rangers, and she could join at his side instead of being in the way. Only ever being on her own side, they clash, creating a massive explosion that leaves their lackeys wondering if they were mutually annihilated. The line at the local temp agency is about to start looking a whole lot weirder. Shredder was told how formidable the witch is by his Dimension X allies, who also believe the two of them could do great things together. I really hope he was talking to Krang and not some alien fan shipper. As neither of them will bow to anyone, they decide on a limited partnership, lasting only until after their enemies are destroyed, at which point they'll resume their little dance. Boot scootin' boogie of doom! Still caged, Tommy is visited by Tyler, refusing to dishonor his clan by freeing him. Sympathizing with being brainwashed doesn't get our hero far, because Tyler is still bitter that after they'd spent years together in the same boys' home, fighting the same fights on the same streets, Tommy was born lucky, eventually getting adopted and left to California. His friend had to fend for himself, but he sees that as a positive now, since it led him to the Foot Clan, who gave him strength, purpose, and allies that will always look out for him. After lying to his friends and resorting to theft, Tommy no longer recognizes the guy for whom he risked his life. "I could be suffering from dehydration. You got a bottle of water or something?" In the Turtles' lair, some of our heroes dine on 2 pizzas, each blending Zack and Mikey's obscure toppings, while Billy asks Master Splinter if he was mutated from a rat into a person or from a person to a rat. The answer is yes, because why not get philosophical about an anthropomorphic ninja rodent? Either that, or Splinter is messing with him as revenge for the nerd asking if he used to be Pizza Rat. Trini and Raph are training, the former asking if the isolation and false public perception is why the turtle has such a temper. Though maybe that's not so bad, since he doesn't have to worry about school or lying to his loved ones. He can simply be himself. Because being me is so easy. I'm green, lady. Ain't you never heard Kermit's song? As he offers to swap lives sometime, April tries to get Kim to eat something, keep her strength up in spite of her worry over Tommy. But she's gone from worried to ticked off, saying her lost not boyfriend had better be in trouble or will answer to her. And I'm not sure what's up with her fingers here. This has been a pretty clean story so far, but it looks like she's throwing double birds just off panel. The Rangers' communicators chime with the series theme song, getting a call from the command center. Alpha 5 detected a massive discharge of morphin energy near the city. Turns out the morphin grid had bean burritos for lunch. They can only be teleported close to where Tommy may be, and Zordon warns them to proceed with extreme caution. The Turtles offer to join them, with Leo looking particularly angry for some reason, but Jason figures it's best to talk to their friend alone for now. We get this fun image of them calling out their respective prehistoric beasts as they morph, and by the look of Michelangelo's eyes, I think it's causing him to feel the rainbow. He's not going to turn into a pile of Skittles now, is he? The Rangers arrive at the dockyards and split up. Zack and Billy, respectively, invited Mikey and Donnie to Angel Grove, and clearing it with Jason, because I guess he runs their non-Ranger lives too. Elsewhere on the grounds, the girls are fully aware they're walking into a trap, before suddenly they see a green and gold figure ahead of them.
Tommy? I swear, if all this fighting and secrecy was just so you could show off some change to your suit, it was totally worth it. Not gonna lie, you're absolutely rocking that purple cape.
They're hit with a wave of light, green this time, and are unmorphed, weakened by the experience. The same happens to their teammates when they find them, though Jason tries to morph again to no avail as Shredder begins his assault. Alpha has lost the Rangers' morphin signatures, a distortion field has surrounded their position, they aren't responding to hails, and can't be teleported away. So Zordon tells the robot to contact the turtles.
Ask them if they have the number for the punk frogs.
Despite Shredder saying their fight wouldn't last long, and the fact that he has blades protruding past his arm, among other places, he still hasn't actually ended the Rangers. But hey, just toying with your opponents when you totally intended to kill them is what supervillains do, basically. They have skill, but lack the stamina to do much against him, and he views them as unworthy of their powers, which makes it all the more satisfying when Trini drops in a kick to his head. As they rally for another attack, we get a new player.
Hey there, Lawbreaker. Remember me?
That's right, Sportsmaster is here for that $50 you owe him. I didn't know how much I missed Casey Jones calling someone Lawbreaker until reading this line. With the turtles unable to transport in, the vigilante was closest to the docks. He proceeds to use his sports weaponry, managing to get some good hits against the empowered villain, even knocking him to the ground.
You gotta love cricket.
You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
However, he does overpower him and Zack, then gets backed up by Foot Ninja, demanding the remaining power coins. Knowing that continuing the fight is a lost cause, our heroes opt to run for it. They're soon intercepted, so Shredder can tell them that if they don't fork over the coins by sunrise, Tommy will be killed. Having managed to escape the distortion field, they're immediately teleported out. Rita watches this with her magic telescope as Shredder tells her the Rangers are powerless, so she instructs Finster to release his latest creation.
Is that a wad of chewing gum with Legos sticking out of it?
I told you I needed a bigger monster ingredients budget. I'm literally picking items out of the trash. These aren't even Legos. They're knockoffs I found in a dollar store dumpster called Blockies. A feline fire monster called Wildfire appears in Times Square, along with some putty backup, while the Rangers and Casey are at the command center. According to Alpha's scans, those blasts from Shredder's machine caused a molecular disruption field that affected their DNA. The coins still work, but the team can no longer unlock them. Shredder put the morphers behind a paywall. He truly is evil! Realizing that Shredder and Rita must be working together, unable to morph with a monster on the loose, and Tommy's life on the line, Billy proposes a radical idea. One that is also tubular, bodacious, and cowabunga, as the issue ends a short time later with the Turtles and April gathered at the base holding the morphers.
So, do we get to pick our own colors?
No, you're going to have to sit through Zordon's motivational monologue about how your personalities and skills correspond to extinct animals after he's known you for all of 5 minutes. Issue 4's cover sees Dragon Shredder and a Foot platoon dropping in on our costume-swapped heroes from the sky. And I don't know if this was the best way to showcase how the Turtles would look morphed. Feels like the first time we see them should have been in the book, where we get more established looks at them. The Rangers, dressed in black ninja clothes with some smatterings of their personal colors, are even more obscured. But maybe that's me being nitpicky again, because, that aside, it's a pretty cool scene. And I guess Pink Ranger April is floating in place? I'm beginning to question that clip Linkara's always playing, of Zordon warning of the dangers of too much pink energy. It apparently lets the user levitate. I guess if they wanted to be less spoilery, they could have had one of the turtles dramatically holding the morpher to the reader, maybe with a dark background energy swirling around them. Or maybe Splinter at the command center drinking tea with Alpha 5, who's trying to work around the fact he has no mouth. As Wildfire frightens people away and begins his rampage by knocking over a hot dog stand, truly the epitome of evil, the Turtles and April are teleported to a nearby rooftop. It's kind of weird how she's just out of frame in this panel, but anyway, despite Raph's apprehension to fighting out in the open, even disguised, and after indulging Mikey and Don to pose and talk like the Rangers, they all shout out their respective animals and morph into the Turtle Rangers.
How toyetic can you get?
They do look cool. Apparently the Morphin Grid or something, I don't know, adapting to their unique mutagenic forms. Maybe the gold coloring is meant to denote armor like Tommy's shield, and that's why it's covering their shells and torsos. Not for Miss O'Neill, though. Bummer. The usual Rangers are waiting things out at the turtle lair, knowing they can't fight the evil ninja or the shrieking wizardess without their powers, but Kim still wants to try saving Tommy.
If he thinks getting kidnapped, depowered, and potentially murdered are going to get him out of his promise to take me to the art museum next week, he's got another thing coming.
Master Splinter interjects with his sagely wisdom, something he's had to tell his sons on numerous occasions. Strength and speed can be lost, but not their adaptability, trust, and camaraderie. They aren't Rangers because of their morphers, but because inside, they are the Power Rangers. So they borrow some weapons and stealthy clothes to become the teenage human ninja humans. Or Ninja Rangers, like Zack says.
Let the shadows be your guide. Stealth and secrecy are your greatest allies.
So no stopping to take selfies while on mission. While these outfits look cool in their own right, I'll admit, adding a stylish flair for each of them, it feels like that kind of defeats the purpose of sticking to the shadows like Splinter instructs. Functionally not all that ninja, especially since lurking in the dark is not exactly what the Rangers are known for, so who knows how much training they have in that. Moving on, the Ranger weapons seem to have adjusted for their new users, as Red Ranger Raph still uses his sais instead of the traditional power sword, and Mikey's nunchucks have blades on them. Not to mention, morphing has done wonders for April's combat skills.
Guys, I don't know what's up with these coins, and I've never shot an arrow in my life. Kia! But right now, I'm Robin Hood. Time to rob the obnoxiously rich. And give to the poor.
I wonder if morphing is also why she's suddenly yelling noises like the Rangers too. Raph is enjoying not having to hold back against non-human putties when Wildfire launches an attack, knocking him down. April tells the guys to tend to him while she covers them.
Looks like someone's gunning for my job.
Well, the Red Ranger is always the leader, so wouldn't that be Raph? I know your coin choice is made for better visual recognition to the reader, but you should have called T-Rex when you had the chance, Leo. Wildfire burns up the arrows, which are apparently wood despite being made from alien technology, which I find rather surprising, and overpowers the team, as we return to the Ninja Rangers being chauffeured by Casey Jones in the Turtles' party wagon.
Toyetic is a word created by marketing people. It means an object or device featured in a cartoon that could easily become a mass-produced toy.
Billy managed to plant the transmitter on Shredder just in case when he was giving them the smackdown last issue, and he soon picks up the signal and directs Casey where to go, eventually finding the current resting spot of the Technodrome. Still undeterred by their lack of powers, they follow Casey inside.
Look at the size of this place. This Shredder must be a millionaire.
He sold his Twitter stock just before it became X. All Bebop and Rocksteady's idea, turns out. They may be witless henchmen, but their investment portfolios are nothing to scoff at. They take out a couple of goons, while Baxter Stockman is about to draw various samples from Tommy to study the effects of the morphin grid on his cells. Brain, bone marrow, spine, all that painful stuff. Fortunately, the gang barge in to put a stop to creepy doctor villain.
So, who wants to beat up the evil scientist?
I vote have Billy do it. Nerd must defeat nerd. They let him run away so they can free their friend, and are about to make their clean getaway when they're ambushed by more Foot Ninja, led by Tyler. A definite hiccup, but it's a chance for Tommy to knock some sense into his old friend. Topside, the fight against Wildfire isn't going so great, with little sign of him slowing down as Raph narrowly saves some civilians from a falling lamppost. Before anyone gets hurt, besides Michelangelo that is, Donatello suggests using some extra firepower, and since he's the Ranger fan/expert, Leo opts to follow his lead. This means combining their weapons into the Power Blaster, and vaporizing the monster with a unanimous Cowabunga! The dust settles, they celebrate their first go with these alien powers, and receive applause from the people they saved, which Raph feels is overdue. You live in the sewer, yet you have weapons, modern appliances, and even advanced sci-fi technology. How have you not already thought of working out a PR campaign? In the Technodrome, while fighting off the Foot, Tommy thanks Kim for coming to his rescue, though she snarks that she tried talking the others into leaving him to die. She found out that he left her his awesome shield in his last will and testament. Stockman announces on the PA that, to encourage the Rangers' surrender, he unleashes the Putty Soldier Elite, A squad of top-tier foot ninja somehow combined with the substance used to create the putties. They take their orders to eliminate anything that stands in their way very seriously, not just attacking our heroes, but the other foot ninja as well. If the putty soldiers are going to be so literal about this, the obvious solution is to sit or lay down in their way, then they won't know what to do. They ignore Tyler's orders to lay off his fellow ninja about to attack him, but he's saved by Tommy's intervention, who uses this as proof that the foot doesn't really care about him. This near-death experience has apparently convinced Tyler of his folly, and he orders his fellow elite to join the Rangers in escaping the Technodrome together. Later, the lead villains are admonishing each other's failures, the putty soldiers being too troublesome, and Rita's monster failing to defeat the turtles and snag the morphers. Which makes me wonder if they anticipated the Rangers giving their powers to the Shellbacks, or if they wondered if the monster's rampage would coax them into giving them over as Shredder hoped. Not important, I guess. Repulsa suggests calling Dimension X, get some help from the Warlord's allies.
No, their involvement comes with too heavy a price. Look, I know with the evil underground base and army of goons, I look like I've got it made, but my credit rating is in the toilet. You have no idea.
To curry favor with his extra-dimensional friends, they need to get those morphers themselves, making the Empress second-guess their alliance. But rather than play the blame game, Shredder suggests a more direct approach. The Technodrome later arises from beneath Central Park, citizens scattering and running for their lives as Bebop and Rocksteady step outside.
You ready for this, Rock? Been wanting to level this city since day one.
He's still sore about bombing on open mic night at the Second City. And if you're familiar with Power Rangers at all, you can guess what happens next. Rita uses her staff to make them grow enormous so they can go kaiju on Manhattan. The news seems very quick to report on this, even calling the devastation before it looks like it's really begun.
Man, I should be reporting on this story. You're living the story now, girl. Yeah, but how am I going to air that? Do an interview where I use special effects to make it look like I'm standing across the room from myself as I answer my own questions? That's so tacky.
With Alpha 5 not quite pinpointing just yet how to get the power coins to work for the Rangers, there's only one option left. Soon the Megazord has formed, approaching the monumental mutants and piloted by the Turtles and April. And I guess being the Red Ranger also means being the designated robot driver. Meaning Raph didn't get to partake in the pre-battle shot of sake before they left. Next week, we get to the final issue of this miniseries, so tune in to find out how the Terrapins with Attitude handle their first time behind the most giant of wheels. I'm the Angry Spork, and man, have I got issues.